Welcome to the Miss Pursuit podcast, the show that will inspire you to pursue an extraordinary outdoor lifestyle. I'm Carly Brasso, founder and CEO of Miss Pursuit, and we are obsessed with all things outdoors. We're here to help you on your messy and magical journey of getting outside. The tried and true secrets, tips, and tricks for starting, learning, and advancing your skills and passion for the outdoors. Shy away from real talk? Nope, not here. The good, the bad, the ugly, and the awesome of hunting, fishing, guns, archery, and wild game are all what you'll find here. Pull up a seat, get cozy, and be ready to be challenged and motivated while you learn. This is the Miss Pursuit podcast. Today we're talking about rifle basics and shooting with Kim Bryant, who is a Miss Pursuit contributor and the Wildlife Women Alabama chapter leader. She's a good old Tuscaloosa, Alabama girl who went from a massage therapist and substitute teacher to creating social media ads for a tractor company. She has 2 daughters. She's taught to hunt. Okay, Kim, we have you on the Miss Pursuit podcast, and we are so excited that you're here. I thought I'd tell you a little secret.
Okay.
That I have not told anyone yet.
Ooh. Okay.
Ooh, juicy.
Ooh.
I went and got a tattoo last night.
Oh my gosh. What
I
did you
know,
get?
like on a random Tuesday night, I went and got a tattoo.
That
A
is
little
awesome.
something on my rib. You know, I'm feeling a little rebellious right now. I'm needing to let a little something out. So
Yeah.
we went to the tattoo shop and got a little tattoo at 10 p.m. on a
That is
random weeknight.
awesome. I love random things like that. That is
I know.
awesome.
I needed a little spunk, I guess, last night. So, okay, let's go ahead. We're going to dive straight in. I want to talk rifles with you in shooting. I know you've taught your daughters. You are well versed in the outdoors. For someone who maybe has never bought a rifle, where does someone start? And I'll just go ahead and let you know. So Catherine Hill,
Uh-huh.
she's our editor. She had never hunted before. She's getting super into it.
Mm-hmm.
She bought her first rifle. Her and her husband did a couple of weeks ago or whenever. They bought a 30-06.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it may have a little bit too much oomph for a
Mm-hmm.
first timer. So how do you know?
How do you know? That's a good question. And that's light beginners, I would say lightweight caliber. My first gun, my favorite gun actually I still use right today is a 7mm .08. It's light. It's not got that huge recoil and kick
Mm-hmm.
that's gonna, knock you on your butt. Um, you can carry it around. It's not heavy. It's not like my great granddaddy's or my granddaddy's, Woodstock grain gun.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, everybody, the 30-06 is because that's a common thing. Like a lot of people deer hunt with 30-06, but I would say my girls started off with a 7mm .08. It's like I
Okay.
said, less recoil. It gets the job done. They're lightweight. Um, a lot of people go with the 270s. A lot of people go with like the 308s. I have a 308 as well. I've got a 30-06 too, but I can see exactly it's got more knockdown. It's a little bit more knockdown power.
It had some
Yeah,
oomph behind it.
yeah.
And I shoot, but I've had my 25-06
Mhm,
forever. That's all I
mhm.
know. That's all I really shoot. Man, when that 30-06 went off, I was like, damn, like it had some power. And I think she
Yeah,
got really in her head about the
yeah.
recoil and the oomph of it.
Right.
And we just kind of couldn't get over that hump.
Mhm.
So I think maybe what we're trying to tell her is maybe that's her husband's gun and she gets something that
Yes,
she feels is more hers.
it's more comfortable. Yes, that's the number one thing too. Um, is go to the stores, go to the gun shop, kind of forget about, your husband's gun or your granddaddy's gun, your daddy's gun or whatever, and pick up those rifles that's behind the counter. Hold them, you know, hold them up to your face, like, look down the barrel, look, make sure they're not too long, make sure they fit you. It's a fit. Yeah, like I said, my 7mm '08 that's my gun. I'm comfortable with it. I know it backwards and forwards. You know, it's lightweight. I can carry it anywhere. Um, I know that no matter how much adrenaline is pumping through my body when an animal walks out, I know that it's not going to knock me on my butt when I pull the trigger,
And I think
So,
the recoil is really scary to
yeah.
especially first timers and even me. Like sometimes I notice myself like anticipating and
Hmm.
getting that anxiety, and it's like, okay, just take a freaking breath. It's like there's nothing to
Yeah.
be scared of, but I think, especially, you start getting in your head. Okay, so a seven
Yes.
millimeter '08, a
Yes.
270, or a 308, maybe like those three
Yeah.
calibers to try as a first timer.
I think so. Yeah. Yeah. I do.
And then, like, should, should you always go more to like a gun specialty shop versus like Bass Pro? I mean, well, or big box stores. I won't say any names,
Right.
but a big box
I
store.
mean, right. It's good. I mean, it's good to go, to a gun specialty shop or go, where the person has a lot of knowledge about the guns, even like at a range. You, a lot of ranges will let you test the guns out and try them before you have to go to a store and actually buy something that you're not familiar with.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, uh I've bought guns at big box stores, but for me personally, I like the local mom and pop shops,
Hmm.
the local guns. It's a more a personal, it's more
Yep.
personal transaction to me. They'll listen to you, they'll try to help you get what's good for you.
Hmm. And like I remember my first pistol I bought. I think I got a revolver,
Mhm.
and basically like every man was like, "Oh, just get a revolver." And then went into the gun shop to like have it looked at or something, and they were like, "That is so dumb. You do not need a revolver. Like that is such something a man told you to do, and that's
Yeah.
dumb. Like you should not have that gun for this purpose." And they were
Right.
like, so dumb. Anyways, but the mom and pop shop, talked to me and told me like what you need and what you
Yeah.
don't need.
Right. Right. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so any of those calibers are good for deer hunting.
Deer hunting. Right. They
Deer
are.
hunting.
They are. Mhm.
Um, okay, any brand. Like do you are all guns fine? It's more about the caliber, or should you think about certain brands?
Well, it's a personal preference, to be honest. Um, I like my 7mm '08's a Thompson Center. Um, like I said, because it's lightweight. It's was designed, or their guarantee is it shoots 100 yards out of the box. Like you take it out of the box and it's guaranteed to shoot 100 yards. Like so, I was like, oh, that's
Sold.
pretty okay. So yeah, but then I've got a my dad had Browning rifles, and he was a Browning guy. Um, the guns that I used in Africa were Ruger, so it is really just a personal preference. And I still go back to it's how the gun feels to you. How are you comfortable with that gun? Because it's just a personal preference.
So we
Um,
don't care as much about brand. We care about
right.
feel, fit,
Yeah.
and a caliber that works for what you
What you're hunting.
are going
Yeah.
through, what you're hunting.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Mhm.
Um, okay. Let's see. Someone shooting for the first time.
Mhm.
What tips? So we'll use Catherine. She's gonna love that I'm using her in her podcast. What advice would you give to someone? Okay, I have my gun. I think this is
Uh-huh.
the right caliber.
Mhm.
Now I'm going to go to the range maybe for the
Yeah.
first time. What advice would you give to someone?
Go with somebody who's knowledgeable. Number one, don't go to the range by yourself and and start shooting. No, um, somebody that you're comfortable with, receiving advice from, and somebody that's knowledgeable. Safety, 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 and safety. Um, it's crazy to think that you should have to be able to tell somebody, don't point a gun at anything that you're not willing to be shooting at. But it's common, like, you would not believe how many times I have witnessed a gun go flying, toward you, or pointed toward you, or getting out of the case, and there's the, barrel, and I'm like, what? No, like, mm-mm. So yeah, safety, safety, safety. Um, breathe and just relax. That's, like, because it's a nerve. I mean, it can be a nervous thing. When I took my girls, guns are kind of scary for a beginner.
They are.
I mean, really, they are. I mean, here's this huge, here's this piece of equipment that could, kill somebody, kill you.
Yeah.
So, and get to know your gun. Like, you need to know how to operate your gun. You need to know what the bolt is, or you need to know what the magazine is, or I mean, when you have no knowledge of gun, you don't even. Somebody can say, "Yeah, that's stock." Say stock, for instance, and they're like, "What the world is a stock?"
Right.
Like,
Take your magazine out, blah blah blah, and it's like,
yeah,
huh?
yeah,
What?
right, yeah, yeah. So, know your gun. Um, Google is a fantastic tool for researching, for, videos on how to. Um, yeah, Google was like, it was like my best friend. I mean,
How did
really.
we live without Google? I
How
mean,
did
my
we?
kids, they ask me a question and I'm like, I don't know, let's Google it. And they'll be like, "Hey
Right.
Siri, do
Yeah.
sharks sleep?" or blah blah. And I'm like, because I do not know this stuff. I don't know how people survive it. Okay, so what about now so I've been shooting 10 years. I think I'm
Uh-huh.
confident. I know I can take a pretty good shot. I'd say 250 to 280 yards.
Hmm.
Um, I kind of know my range. I'm medium. How
Yeah.
could someone like me get better? So someone who's already been shooting a while, what now
Yeah.
could I do?
Practice.
Just
Practice. I mean, it just all boils down to practice. Anything that you are, that you're wanting to master or wanting to get better at, you've got to practice. So, I go back to, you've got to handle your gun. You've got to know, and you got to know, like, the ammo, or what rounds shoot better through your gun than, another, grain, or, one manufacturer, ammo might not work for that particular gun, compare or shoot as good compared to another, brand. Um, a lot of trial and error, a lot of and a lot of practice. And I mean, that's the only way that you're going to be able to get better.
so how important is your ammo?
Very important, very important, because different grains shoot further distance. Different grains, depends on what kind of animal you're shooting. Um, like, for instance, in Africa, I shot 160 grain bullet from a 7 mag. Um, Here, for deer hunting, and I was shooting long distances there too, you know 300, 400, 500 yards.
Man.
um Here, for deer hunting, I rarely ever shoot over 100 yards, if not less. I'm like hunting a power line or something, and then I'm going to have longer. But yeah, a 140 grain bullet in a 7 millimeter .08 is a lot different than a 169 grain bullet, or round in a 7 Remington mag. So yeah,
Okay.
it there's a difference. Um,
So, and that's something, I think for me, or maybe women, some women, and like I
yeah,
know my husband has just done so much for me. So as
Mm-hmm.
much experience in years that I have, I really don't. You know what I mean? Because he's done all of that. He buys the
Yeah.
ammo. I don't really pay attention to those things. And I think over the
Mm-hmm.
last few months, I'm realizing a lot more that I've never cleaned my gun. I've
Right.
never picked out or tried a few different ammo. Like, I don't really know those things for me.
Right. Right. And that's what I'm passionate about is helping. I want ladies to be comfortable to be able to walk into a store and say, "Hey, I'm looking for a deer rifle. I don't want a 300, Win Mag. I want something light, lightweight or, you know, and know what they're talking about or having kind of an more of a understanding and knowledge enough to be able to go confidently into a store and
Hmm.
look for something because I've been into stores and as a woman walking in and you're like looking for a gun and the first a lot of times they're like, are you buying a gun for your husband? Are you buying a gun for your boyfriend? Or, do you what? You hunt? Like do
Is it
you
not
really
so weird how many times you get the "you hunt?" question mark?
Yeah.
I'm like, these people have no idea. I'm like, try being in the middle of Dallas and saying that you hunt. People are like, hmm.
Yeah.
Would you
But just the
recommend?
confidence,
Yeah.
just confidence. That's a big thing. Being comfortable enough to have, knowledgeable enough to have confidence to go in and, or even get, when you get to that point to go to a range by yourself,
Hmm.
um, to, practice shooting or or, go into a gun shop and look at different grain of ammo to buy.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. So I know, again, we've mentioned this, but you've taught your daughters to shoot.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, what advice, I want to know, like tips and tricks on teaching someone else to shoot. So Catherine and I are there for the first time. She doesn't really feel that comfortable. How can I, as her teacher or as her mentor, or
Mhm.
you as a mentor to other women, teach them, teach someone else to shoot?
Okay. So the first thing is show them that guns are you're not, there's nothing to be scared of. A gun can't, pull the trigger itself. Um, safety, safety, and safety. And I know I keep saying that, but that was just pounded in my head. Like
Yeah.
that was pounded. Ear protection. That's a big thing that a lot of people, especially like the older generation, they didn't grow up using ear protection. Well, my youngest daughter, Isabella, she hates to hear a gun because it's loud. It hurts her ears. So she wore, earplugs or those, earmuffs.
Hmm.
Shooting in the shooting house or in the hunting for a long time. So um you know and so ear protection, safety, make them um go over the gun with them, right, show them how the safety works, show them how to bolt the round in, show them how to load the magazine, um make sure they're comfortable.
Hmm.
That's a big thing because, like, for instance, my girls, the first time I was trying to teach Isabella how to shoot a gun, it was a little 410,
Hmm.
and my dad actually had given it to her. Um,
How old was she?
she was thir- 12, 12.
Okay.
So, no. Let me see. She may have been younger than that. Cause yeah, so she's probably about maybe 10. Yeah, because it's been like 5 years. So or 6 years. Um, so we set her up on a little bench with some sandbags and this little 410 and didn't have a scope or any like it was just a little 410 youth model. But that thing, so she shot it and it kicked her hard. Like it almost
Hmm.
like if I wouldn't have been standing behind her, she would have fell off the bench. So that was like, oh no, I'm not shooting. I'm not shooting
Hmm.
again. So Daddy was like, well, I didn't realize that 14 was going to do that to me. So, because he's thinking it's a little youth gun, and and she's like, at the time, probably 50, 60 pounds, like she was little. So, it took her a long time to get over that fear of a gun hurting her. Well, poor thing. So then, like several years later, this is like such a trial and error, and it's so terrible sounding, but so I had her again, and I said, okay, Isabella, we're gonna shoot. You know, you need to learn how to shoot. Like you're deer hunting, and like you've got to learn.
Mm-hmm.
Because we were like I was sitting there in my lap, and she was like looking through the scope and pulling the trigger, but it was still like not on her. She wasn't like doing it all her
Mm-hmm.
independently herself. And I wasn't paying attention good how close her face was to the scope. And yeah, she scoped her eye.
Oh,
Yeah. And I'm like, dear Lord, have mercy. Like, my baby's never going to want to shoot again. But,
never.
but she did. She, a couple of years ago, I took her to the range, and she's left-handed too. And that's a whole nother little different subject, trying to teach somebody how to shoot left-handed when you shoot a gun right-handed. Like, it's
Mm-hmm.
total difference. But so I had her with my 7 millimeter 08, and I was like, okay, I promise it's not going to shoot. Like you're not going to get scoped in the eye. You can keep your face far enough from the scope, and it's not going to have all that recoil. And so I set her up in a oh the well, I forgot what they're called, the gun
Like a bay at the range, or
yeah, well, I said her yes, but then instead of having her like on bags where she's holding the gun, I had one of those
like,
gun.
like shooting. I know what you're
Do
saying.
you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, that
I
you
can't
set your
believe.
gun and you can arrange it a little high and low. Yes.
Yes, yes, that thing. Sorry, I
That
just
thing. Who
completely.
needs a name for that?
That thing I'm talking about.
That thing.
So because it takes all the recoil, but I mean, it helps you. It
Mm-hmm.
steadies you up, and it takes all the brunt, the recoil and stuff. So I had to shoot first. I said, look, let me shoot it. You're gonna see it's not gonna hurt me. Like I'm not gonna get scoped in the eye, and you know, we got to conquer this fear. And
Mm-hmm.
so I shot. She watched me shoot. She's saying that I didn't scope myself, and then a tip for that was I started making her wear a hat, because the bill of the hat touches the top of the scope, and
Mm-hmm.
that was just a like barrier and a protection, like, oh, okay, so if it comes back and it's going to hit my hat, and it's not going to hit my eye. And so
Mm-hmm.
that was a big game changer for her. So and
Interesting.
that, yeah, so and I mean that's one reason why I shoot wearing a hat all the time, is because of that, like that factor that I know.
Yeah, I like that's a good little trick.
Yeah. So we got
Um,
over that. So we got over that fear, and she shot bullseye, and now she's moved up from the 7 millimeter 08. Now last year she shot the 308. So she no, we haven't had any more accidents,
that's
but
good. She
thank the
definitely
Lord.
started off on the wrong foot.
She did, poor thing.
Poor
Like
thing.
it was just. So, but yeah, now this year she's like, I'm going to hunt by myself. So,
Good. That's awesome.
yes, yes. So
That's
I'm
so cool.
excited about that. But yes, so
So
being
what
there,
let me
encouraging
ask you
them.
too about scopes. Like how important are optics?
Optics are more important than I rather have a good scope than a good rifle. I seriously, you can't kill deer or any kind of animal without good optics. Period. If you can't see what you're shooting, you're not going to be killing it. You're not going to be able
Mm-hmm.
to shoot. Yes, that's been a learning experience too, because I've bought $100 scopes and $1,000 scopes, and that's a I have been in the position where I've had a huge deer, 150 yards in front of me, and it's a foggy morning,
You can't.
and you can't see nothing because
Mhm.
you've got a cheap scope. So hands down, a glass, yeah, good glass and a good quality scope is, yeah,
So
is
whatever your budget is, so let's say, this person has a budget of, I don't know, 500 or 800 or
yeah,
1,000 or whatever
yeah,
their budget is. Go medium, low to medium on your gun, and go medium to high budget on your
absolutely,
scope.
absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely, yeah.
Have you had, I mean, I know you told us about your daughter. Have you had any bad experiences in the field with guns?
Um, close. I would say close calls. Um, I've never had like one blow up or anything. A few years ago, I was riding with somebody, and they were going to drop me off at my stand. The roads were real muddy. I was in the back of the Ranger holding my gun because there was not enough, they only had two gun boots, so I had to hold my gun. So I was holding my gun barrel down in between my legs.
Hmm.
And when I got out and got set up in my stand, I don't climb up in the ladder or climb up in the shooting house with my gun loaded. So um, I had got set up and I was loading, putting a round in my gun, and I noticed there's mud in the end of my barrel because so from what yeah. So thank God that I noticed that, because if I would have a deer would have come out and I, shot, then the whole, oof, that'd have been terrible.
That would have been
So,
bad. Wow.
yeah, that would have been bad. So that's when I act. So yeah, that's when I learned exactly how to break down my gun completely and how to clean all that. And that mud was I mean, like down in my barrel.
Now, what would happen if you shot your gun with all that mud in your
It
barrel?
would have, it would have probably exploded the end of the barrel would have probably ballooned out. You've probably
Oh
seen
my
like
gosh.
videos, yeah, seen videos or seen pictures where the barrels are broken, busted open.
Man.
Yeah, yeah,
Do
because
you do you check your barrel every time before you load and shoot?
yeah, I mean now
Now,
now I do.
yeah.
Now I
That's
make sure there's nothing in there. And make
that's probably something I'm kind of lazy on. Like I would
yeah.
never check. Um
Well,
so
and I
and
would have never, because I mean I just happened to see mud, at the end of my barrel, and I was like, what the world? And then so I unloaded my gun, I, unbolted it, looked down, and I couldn't see, when I looked through, I was like, oh, yeah, I'm not seeing any light at the end of the the barrel.
yeah.
So
Wow.
yeah, so I didn't get to hunt that time. I called and I was like, hey, you got to come get me because I got to get this gun cleaned. Like
Oh,
there's no.
that's scary.
So yeah, I was very lucky, very lucky.
So what else? What did we miss? What have we not covered? What do our listeners need to know?
Hmm. Oh, let me see. Let me look
Did
at my
we
notes.
cover it all? Do you feel good that, this is kind of a good place for people to start?
um, yeah, I do. I do.
I think like not getting discouraged,
Not,
making sure you find that right ammo, just keep trying. And I think reaching out, it's really hard to know where to ask for help.
yeah.
So here's one person in the entire world, Kim Bryant, that if you have questions, find her on Instagram, send her a message to say, hey, okay, now what the hell am I supposed to do? So everyone listening has at least one point of contact that they could reach out to ask questions.
Yes, yes, and also, our Miss Pursue team. I mean, that's what we're here for.
Yeah. We have
I mean, it really.
our team is so cool.
I know, I
I
know.
mean, all of y'all blow me away. Like, I'll read your content every week and look at y'all's Instagrams, and I'm like, I mean, y'all are legit the coolest people. Like, when I talk about people, I'm like, no, no, no. These women are the best, most badass women in the world.
Yeah, that's
Like,
exactly how I feel about every one of them too.
y'all are
Exactly
all
how I feel.
insane.
You too. Like,
Okay, so let's have a little fun. Things that you cannot leave your house without. I have heard about maybe tiger's blood, which is making me a
yes.
little nervous. So, what is this tiger? What is this
I
tiger's
I
blood?
should I should get it for you. So Tiger's Blood is by Mountain Ops. Do you want me to grab it for you?
It's,
Tiger's Blood is by Mountain Ops, and it is a focus energy drink. And that's like my coffee every morning. Like when as soon as I get up, I put a scoop of Mountain Ops Tiger's Blood in my water, and I'm good to go. It's like, it's better than any any like Mountain Dew or anything like that I've ever had. Like
I
that's
love
the
that. I was like, tiger's blood. We're
yes.
gonna need to talk to Kim about tiger's blood.
So yes,
Um,
it's good.
and then, okay, anything else? You have three things. Your house is on fire, even though that's a horrible thing to say. I may need to reword this question. What are the three things you're grabbing? I guess one is definitely tiger's blood.
Yeah, Tiger's Blood. I'm gonna say my gun. My guns. I'm gonna try to get my guns, and I would want to grab my kudu, but I don't think I could ever get it out the door.
That's funny.
So yeah,
And then,
definitely Tiger's Blood rifle and maybe my kudu.
okay, I like those. Those are good answers. And what are some products right now that are on the market in the outdoor market that you're like,
Mhm.
okay, these are freaking cool, or something that you've recently bought or that you've seen? What are like one or two things that you're like, man, these products seem awesome?
Um. Uh. Look, I done forgot. Let's see. I don't
I
know.
think
Can you give me
probably your say it again for me, your 7 millimeter
my?
08.
Yeah,
Like
absolutely. My
you've got
seven
that.
millimeter oh
You
08.
love that gun.
That is my favorite gun.
You
That is
love
my
that gun.
hands down my favorite gun. That is my favorite gun. Um, yeah. So yeah, 7 millimeter oh 08. Thermosales.
Oh, oh, that's a good one.
Thermosales to keep those mosquitoes away. Like, that's pretty good.
Do you have any
Um,
snake boots?
yes.
Being in Alabama?
That's what I was about to say. So my snake boots, you can't live without my snake. I cannot live without my snake boots. So yes, my Irish setter snake boots. They put some miles. I haven't put some miles on those things.
See, I
Yes,
have a pair of snake boots and they are so bulky and so heavy, and I just haven't worn them enough to
yeah.
get comfortable
I've
in
got a
them.
pair. I've got a pair that I absolutely hate. That I won't say name brand, but I absolutely hate. Paid $300 something for. But then I've got these Irish setters, and they are like tennis shoes. Of course, all snake boots are going to be like hot, like you're going
Yeah.
to, but these are lightweight. These are literally like, I wore them to Africa. I wore them hunting, climbing mountains. I'm going to wear them when I go to Eastern Kentucky in the mountains. Like, I'm going to wear the soles off these.
Okay, when is your next Africa hunt?
June of 2022. That's what I'm planning for.
So, do you try and do a once a year to Africa?
I would love just to be able to just go there all the time. Like that's how much I love Africa. Like I could probably live there part time. Um, it's that was my goal is like go either once a year, once a year or once every 2 years. So this time with the COVID and everything, it was like a 3 year span in between the first time I went and then this time. So
Damn
now
COVID.
I know, but it's all right. It was okay. It worked out. It really worked out good because I got to save some money to shoot more animals that way. So and get my complete some of my slams. So that's my goal this time. Is I've got um I want to complete my spiral slam. So that's
I'm ex-
2 more animals, and but just going. That's
yeah.
I just love it.
So, your next trip, are you going to go solo?
No, I'm getting a group together.
You're getting a group
So
together.
I'm getting, yep, yes. So right now, all
I'm
right.
raising my hand.
Okay. You are in. You are
I
in.
could be interested. Africa,
Okay.
like, So I would love to do Africa.
Hmm.
Will is kind of a hard no, and I don't
Yeah.
know why. I think he likes more like the American big game,
Yeah.
the mule deer, the elk, it's
Yeah.
kind of his thing. So every time I
Right.
mention Africa, he's like,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
if
Yeah.
there were a whole bunch of girls going or
There,
something,
well, yes. Well, I will definitely, you are definitely in. Because right now there's like 4 that's really interested. So, um, that's a good number. Like 5, like, group of 5,
do you
4 or
know I
5.
just invited myself on a trip? You're
I'm
gonna get off
so
this
glad.
and be like,
No,
that lady is so rude.
no, I'm not. I'm like, yes, come. I wish everybody could experience Africa. I'm telling you, that's how much I love it. Like
You do. You are a big advocate.
I love, love, love. Like I wouldn't even have to go hunt. Literally, I would not have to go hunt. I could just want to go. I just
Well, I
want to
love
be
it.
there.
I love your accent. Do I have an accent to you?
No, but you don't. But I know I'm probably so country. I'm
You
like
definitely have. It's beautiful. I love a good Southern accent, but that's, I think, because I have a little bit of one. But I love it.
but say
You
to
are
me,
beautiful, and
well, thank you. To me, you don't have an accent at all. Yeah.
well, I'll
Mm-mm.
take it because I'm probably the only one in the world that you're the only one in the world that doesn't think I have an accent. So I'll take it. Hey, Kim, thank you so much for coming. You did
Thank
great.
you.
I think your advice, your tips, your tricks, your knowledge were just right on par. You did great.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right.
It was so much fun.
Make sure to follow Kim on Instagram at Kim_M.Bryant. That's Kim_M.BRYANT. And as always, head over to misspursuit.com, sign up for our newsletter, and go ahead and buy some super cute merch. Thanks so much for listening to the Miss Pursuit podcast. Stay outside, and we'll see you next week.